This year, 2022, marks the 10th anniversary of my second album, Native Son. So I wanted to start a podcast which I'm calling Breezecast to celebrate some of the people who've been a part of my musical journey, and none more so than in the run-up to 2012 when this album was first released. There was a period of my life where my favourite new music was being made by musicians who I was also fortunate to call friends, and so it's a great pleasure to share this first episode where I'm joined by former collaborators P.SUS and Billinski.
Hello.
Hey.
Sweet.
Working now?
Yeah, all good.
Finally.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
speaking to you?
It is going to be just audio, so you don't need to have cameras, but I just thought you guys would love to see
I know you don't want to see this pretty face. I have my PC desktop here, so no cameras here. I'm never really doing video chats.
No worries at all.
It's for your own benefit, trust me.
It's so good to chat with you guys. Have you both met in person? You're both from Florida, right?
Dude, it's been how many years has it been, Pat? 10 years?
Like almost 10, yeah, 10.
That's
probably.
insane. It doesn't even feel like it half the time.
I know.
That's crazy.
You look just like I remembered.
That's
I
good.
don't.
Are you both in different parts of Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Pensacola right now. And sadly, when he moved, I think, to Florida was when I actually had moved away from Florida right around that same time.
Right.
Okay.
So for his whole first chunk, I was in Nashville, actually, for about 4 years.
Oh, okay. Same.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bill, you sound exactly like I thought you were going to sound like.
I hope I didn't disappoint.
I don't know if I sound how you thought I was going to sound.
I love the accent. That's all I know. And that's what I expected. I think it's been a while since I've heard it, but I pretty much, I know we all haven't talked before, but, we've all kind of seen each other here and there.
Would you like a cup of tea?
So where are you at anyway right now? Like, where in the UK are you at?
I'm in Manchester, which is a slightly more northern city. Like, speaking of 10 years ago, like, me and Pat met 10 years ago in London. Like, wow, can't believe that was 10 years ago. Obviously, like, we've all known each other a slightly longer time than that, but that to this day, like, that is the only time I've ever taken a fake sick day off work and spunked out to go meet somebody. So
that's awesome.
The honors go to UP.
Have you ever met Jeesh? Because I know that Pat, he was there. Run-ins over there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
he was there with us.
And that's the only time I've met Jeesh as well in the flesh. Considering like the UK is a slightly smaller country, obviously. So,
basically, right?
Yeah, man. When do you guys remember like when we met? Like, I guess for you guys it would have been
first time we all connected.
Like the forum for you guys, or?
Well, Dynamo, if you met, good old Dusty, he's actually the first person I think in the whole group that I initially contacted through, and I don't remember what exactly we met through.
Dusty,
and then he
better known as Dynamo, right?
Yeah. He led me to Pat though, and I remember actually seeing a couple of Pat's tracks like that. I still can never remember the exact name, but it had like a tiger and a moon or something, like with a picture. And I remember just being like, "Damn, this guy's good."
Soul Smile.
Soul Smile. That's it. The drums and all that. It was so dope. And I remember, I think he had already known you a little bit at the time, and then we just kind of
we were MySpace.
MySpace,
way back in MySpace.
And then you, I think through Bob though, because I had seen something, because he had reached out. I don't remember exactly how that started either, but it all kind of fell together naturally, which is awesome.
Such a great community back then. But, me and Pat, we had a mutual friend, a guy who used to produce by the name Lodi, super into like gaming and stuff. And
That's right.
I was following Lodi, and then I'd seen Lodi commented on Pat's profile, and I was like, shit, like this is great. It was like Ryukyu Nights or something like that, super old.
Like it was YouTube for me. So you guys were all on MySpace, because I mean I was on MySpace, of course, but I actually never really jumped on the music side of MySpace. I just realized now that I think about it. So you guys must have had that other little network there, and then somehow through YouTube, I kind of found you guys or something.
Yeah, because you used to have the channel, was it like Bilbo 1?
Bilbo 0, yeah. I think I might have changed a few things, but I have not done a whole lot with it, to be honest. And all those old songs are still there.
I remember.
Most of them.
Yeah, I remember that. Because I migrated to YouTube, and at first it was just, I just had a channel of music I liked. Like I used to just post stuff that was kind of similar vein. Some like of the rarer new job-esque stuff, but mostly like guys that I just heard on MySpace and really liked.
I'm just that era, man. New Jobbies and
like Shinsky and stuff. And then like gradually I got the confidence to start like pushing my stuff onto the channel.
What was that channel called? I remember that now.
It was it's still the same channel. I just obviously changed the name to Breezewax now, but it was like I used to go by like Nexus originally.
That's it. Yeah.
Nexus. And then
I was gonna ask, were you always Breezewax, or so you had a whole nother moniker kind of before that started?
Kind of. I mean, like I didn't know what I was doing when I first started out. Like here's the thing, that I was a guitarist first and foremost, right? I used to play in bands and stuff, and the only reason I really got into production or found it was one, like I was super inspired by like the Samurai Champloo soundtrack, but two, I just couldn't find anyone at university who wanted to do the same kind of music as me. And
not nowadays.
I just thought like, let me just download FL Studio and mess around. But then like every track I was doing was like, oh, that's where the mixer is. Oh, so that's reverb. And like, I really didn't know what I was doing. So about 2008, like I think I started working on what would be the first EP for Breezewax, Astral Appeal. And it was kind of more like lounge stuff, I think, at first, really. It was only later on, right, I started using more like vocal samples and things like that. It was more just, like chill, loungy kind of.
You always had that, I'll say, just because you kind of reminded me, I think because of your background, since you played a lot of guitar, and you always had that, that loungy, super chill. I mean, we're all chill, of course, but like you had a nice, just super clean sound to all of that. And I see that's where that came from, for sure.
Yeah. So once I did Winter Children, I was like, oh, this is actually sounding all right. I think I'm going to put some stuff out now. And then that's when I started putting my stuff onto the channel. And people were like, oh, you really like this Breezewax guy, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, so that's me.
2008, man.
Yeah, so that was that.
I kind of forgot that Breezewax, you were from like the Lodi kind of MySpace crew, because you integrated so quickly into the whole like pogo friends, for lack of a better term, like Billinski and Dynamo and Geesh and stuff, and like I associate you with them, but then I forgot you were like, I had met you before that with do you remember like Sensei Sounds and
I do, yeah.
Wakamaru.
I have all of their stuff still like ripped, but I had a hard drive corruption some years ago, so I lost like all of my like Nexus stuff and then all of that stuff as well, and so much music. So sad.
I might be able to reimburse you some of that.
So wait, is Breezewax how you knew Lodi P.SUS, or?
Lodi came first for me. Like,
okay.
He was the first person that I like. I don't know. He was just super outgoing, I guess. I don't really remember how it happened, but when I was like trying to post my music online, he was kind of the first like friendly fellow producer that I kind of reached out to on MySpace.
That's great.
And we just became quick friends, and actually, shout outs to him, because I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for him, because he showed me, Pogo. He showed me like a bunch of people that I wouldn't know of. Well, I mean, I probably would have found them eventually, but he really like gave me a head start on like discovering the whole like chill out electronic and hip hop beats stuff.
That's cool. Because like I know you had like a major jazz background anyway. Like your dad's a musician, right? And I could tell from. This was it for me. Like I could tell everything that you were sampling. It's like, this guy is a kindred. Like he knows jazz. Like, so
he kills those jazz melodies.
That was cool. Like it was so. I describe that because that's it. Like, so the common link for us was obviously Lodi. I found out about Pogo and then met other people like Geesh and Dynamo through you, Pat. And then I guess would have been the same, but then YouTube as well. And I think I probably started following you, Bill, around about like familiar sounds kind of time, like 20 thing.
I think, well, we really hit on, I feel like almost maybe we hit even, it led to Pogo, but it was almost maybe on the more hip hop. Well, I don't know. I kind of jumped straight into the Pogo influence pretty quick too, but I always had more of like, I was always super into hip hop from the get go. So I think that was always that little bit underlying all of it a little bit, but because Bob, of course, he's a huge hip hop guy. Am I getting, is it Bob 23? I can't remember the whole
24JH.
Yeah.
Weird, it's like his door number.
Hey, he was hard working, man. He put that stuff out there.
But yeah, again, like massive community, right? And he brought so many artists together with what he did, and then like Cult Classic Records, which obviously Nature
that was it, Cult Classic Records
as well. Just such a great time. I just wanted to chat about that era in general. Like, I'd say like 2010, 2011 time, like was so creative for all of us, right? There was like Sky Ribbons for Pat and True Tracks, and obviously we all did Solstice together at the end of that year. Time Relative was out that year as well.
Was Solstice our first, was that our first thing together we did, right?
First and only for the three of us. Like
three of us,
you guys did Sound Spectre and stuff, but
I almost thought you were on Sound Spectre. That's why I was confusing a little bit. You're right. That was me, Pat, and Cheese.
Dynamo.
Right? Dynamo. Yep. Yeah. Sorry, it's getting old now. God.
Oh yeah. I'm forgetting a lot of stuff myself.
It's mad that it was that long ago. Honestly, like
it doesn't feel like it though sometimes, you know. Like
I can still remember like what I was doing and where I was when I put certain things together. Like when I was working on what was the first EP we did together, Pat? That was 2011, right? That was Solace and Sound.
That's it.
And
I was like had another sound name.
It's gotta.
And I was I remember I was in like I'd finished my masters and I was just like working like part-time stuff, but I was back in my parents' house. I had such a great output, I think, because I was just like looking for this next step in like my career and stuff, and I just had so much time in between looking for jobs and stuff that I was just like, I did so much that year, like, and again, like the jump for me, like from 2010 to 2011, because I was Vagabond in 2010, but by the midpoint of 2011, I'd moved past it. I was like, I can do so much better than this. And that was like kind of what galvanized like Nature Son. Nature Son was like, I feel like I need to like create the album that like the potential deserved to work on that. But there was Solace and Sound, there was Distant Rhythms EP, there was my first collab with Evan and Wake as well, which was super popular. It still is to this day.
Was Native Son like, that was your first like really big solo kind of project? Like the first big one that you knew?
There was Vagabond first, and like Pat might remember, like the original version was like 9 tracks, and then when Infast,
I love that version.
When Infast like signed me up for an album, they basically took all of my like EPs from 2009 to 10, and like, so I didn't really have much creative control over that. They kind of created their own track listing and stuff, and I thought they would like, I think they probably just like threw like a like Lander style mastering system or something like that. This guy has got Vagabond in his hands. Pat has got Vagabond in his hands. I can't really listen to that too much now, really, if I'm honest with you. And again, like I had to like put some artists on my track. That's the one.
Hey, there it is.
I was listening this morning, the Native Son. And
I love how you have all the physical copies. I mean, you're a physical copy kind of guy. And I always love
I miss that so much.
Stuff, man.
I miss that so much. Like, and again, like albums as well. Like, I feel like with streaming now, so much is moving.
I love the fake vinyl.
Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? That's in a frame for me. Like, I kind of moved house very recently, and I'm waiting to put up. It's basically like
my studio space.
Yeah, it's kind of like my studio space, I guess. So I've got like that, and then the Vagabond CDs, like, and it's just, you know, I never like to like look back and say like, oh, that was a great time, but I always kind of think the best should be yet to come, and they can try and do things. But it's nice to also see like the steps, and like, as I said, the jump from Vagabond sound to everything I was doing in 2011 leading up to working on Native Son, which was mostly 2011. That was like such a critical time for me. And to be honest, like just working with you guys, like I felt like I learned so much from listening to what you were doing as well. And like Bill, like yourself, your jump from like Lucid to Time Relative to like everything you were doing after that, like you could hear, like it was still like you had this unique sound, which I really always loved. Like I can tell like a Billinski track straight away.
I wish I could do something different, but I just keep barging into doors, not knowing what, you know, and it just comes out that way. I was just so impressed to be with you. I mean, you guys, because you guys have so much more of a formal kind of background in your own different ways, you know, and you guys had just such. I'm trying to find a good word, just good, clean, and y'all's mixes were always so good, and I was just always super happy to be with you guys. I mean, even Geesh and Dan, I mean, everyone was just doing such awesome stuff, and I was just this random guy with my little FL Studio, putting a little one song with a picture on YouTube. And same way, dude, it took me a long, actually, you know, it wasn't even YouTube, the first thing. I don't know if you guys have ever remember WeTransfer, or remember that really crappy, no, Zippy Share. I think Zippy Share. Yeah. Zippy Share or something. Like you literally had like, it was like an 128 kb like horrible sound quality, and it wouldn't even stay up forever. And I would just put up a few tracks on there, send them to like beat blogs and stuff like that. That was actually the first few little things started. And then once I got on with you guys, it was like, damn,
that's cool, bro.
I'm with some people that can really make music.
But your trajectory was like insane from that. I always thought you were a drummer, Bill. Like I feel like your tracks, like you have a great understanding of rhythm. And I love percussion. I honestly did play drums a little bit back in the day, but I was so bad at it. I hit some pretty big, you know, the classic walls that a lot of drummers run into, and could have kept pushing through it. But it's funny that you hit on that, because that really is that's something I always wanted. I was always, I think, most intrigued by the drummer and bands and all that. And like I said, I love hip hop, so that is something I've noticed, that I'm always super heavy with that. I've even tried to kind of like see if I can make it a little different, where, I mean, I've had the instrumental type tracks, but no, drum is always hot and heavy. Yeah. And everything pretty much, for sure.
Nice.
Do you have?
Yeah. I started out on drums too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like when I was a kid. I just switched to keyboard because I was just like, oh, melodies and harmonies sound nice. I'd like to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I never took like formal piano lessons. Well, I guess I did eventually, but I wasn't like a piano kid or anything. I was more of a drummer kid.
It was cool back then. Who wanted to play piano? My parents tried to get me on piano lessons. I was like, no, I want to bang on these drums.
Yeah.
I think piano has always been my favorite instrument, actually. It's just like, I mean, I could never afford a piano. Like I actually bought my first guitar myself as well. There was no one musical in my family. It's just, I always just had an affinity with it. And I think part of the reason like my trajectory has always been, like, it's just been harder because I had not had like formal training or even theory. It was just learning through like listening to records, and I obviously had a lot of those. So it was exactly the same when it came to production. It was just, I would trial and error and just listen to things, and like panning is a thing, stereo imaging. So it'd be like learning and just trying to make things sound better. Like now it's, I don't know, it's easier. You can go on YouTube and you can get a tutorial for anything, right? But when we started out, there just wasn't anything like that. So I would literally be learning things every track I was doing. But
you guys, I got tips from you guys. I remember asking, the only thing that really pops in my head I can think of in the moment is Pat giving me some tips on say different drum, what's the word I'm trying to think?
Quantize.
You know, like getting different drum loops and how to kind of splice those and maneuver those. Because I was like, man, I'm really in quantizing. Yeah. He that's what you said, right? Yeah, he was giving me tips on those. Like a lot of little beginning stuff that I just had no clue of. You know, just trial by error, by fire, really.
Yeah, I kind of remember that now that you mention it.
Yeah,
I remember talking to you about that. Yeah.
It helped too. I mean, all these are little things that I started to kind of incorporate. I'm like, oh shit, I see what he's talking about. And
yeah, it was like, I remember your beats sounding a little stiff, and I was like, oh, you should try to quantize some swing onto your beats a little bit.
that was like the first or second album in there, and then I just started, and then I went really heavy on that, and then I tried out new things. It was just constant. I would go super heavy on one little new thing I would try, and then getting different effects. I remember that. I went a little too hardcore on that. It's the growing process, you know. That's what we all do.
Yeah. Do you like have favorite tracks of your own, or favorite? No, that's probably difficult, isn't it? Because we've now got hundreds of tracks each. Like, do you have like favorite albums or EPs that you've done, like from both?
For sure. I mean, I can think of some of my favorite stuff I've done has been, we'll say, like, I still right now, the little collab I did with Pat just pretty recently, that's still one of my favorite things I've done in a minute. It was honestly a fun little beat battle thing, which, by the way, we all need to get on, because I don't think I've ever seen you on those beat battles.
I never did that. I've entered one competition ever, fairly recently, like last 3 years anyway, for like Potato Head people. I did one. I was just really into their stuff at the time, so that was kind of cool. But other than that, I never did a Stone's Throw. But I know, like,
you kill it there, man.
I did a lot of that stuff. But for me, like,
they're fun.
When I think like Billinski, I'm thinking like what track do I think of first? What record do I think of first? It's probably Time Relative is the first thing that comes to my head.
That was a good era.
But like, I feel like probably my favorite like body of your work was We See It Our Own Way. I just kind of felt like that was you coming into like your own, like this is like everything just kind of culminated in this project. Is like so tight.
It was the most I ever did on any one album, for sure. When I had the problem of having ADD. I think I do have ADD. I've never been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure. And this is something I admire about you guys, I think, especially because Breezewax, I would see you, because what's so great about you is that you would show a lot of, I mean, both of you guys are good at this, you know, having a lot of videos showing the making of, and I'm a lot more shy and all that stuff. I just don't do, I don't even have a webcam right now, all that stuff, obviously. Like, I've never been big on that, and it's much more boring for me too, because I don't play as many live instruments. It's a lot more tedious and slow, just puzzling basically clips together. It's not as much fun to watch. But that was that one album though where I really spent, I mean, it was upwards of like 8 months or maybe as long as on a particular song or something, which I never would go back that long to keep hitting on the same track. So I was really trying to up my level to kind of match up with, say, like you guys are, you know, getting on the mix. I still, you know, I've never fully understood all the technicalities that I feel like I should have, but just slowly but surely trying out different things to make it a little better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like I'm just now like figuring out how to mix stuff.
I would disagree, but yeah, I get that feel. I get that feel.
I feel like
as far as knowing what to actually do, whereas before I was just experimenting and trying stuff and winging it.
I'm still there.
I think I was probably there as well. Like I only like had I did like a formal like sound engineering course, because I was like, I need to take this more seriously, and that this can actually be like a vocation as well. Tail end of 2018 into 2019 and 20, and then learning to like, there's a lot of stuff I'd obviously like come across as I was working on things, but just the difference between working in your bedroom and actually being with people from the industry who like it's such a different beast altogether. And learning to like master as well, like I'd always kind of heard like get someone else to like have fresh ears and listen to your stuff and master it, but not necessarily always the way. And of my recent stuff, I mastered me and Evan Awake Vocoder's Seconda Vista, like the follow-up to Prima Vista. Like I just chose to do that myself, and then everything I've done since then, I kind of just feel like I kind of know what I like now, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it. But still, like up until then, like I think just about every project I've maybe done, maybe bar Native Son, I'm not sure. I still feel like there are a lot of things I'll listen to a track now and I'll hear things and I'll be like, if I were to do it now, like But yeah, I'm not yet at the point where I'm like retrospectively like remastering or going over stuff again, but I kind of think it is what it was of the time and just leave it as it was. But
is FL Studio your kind of main workspace as well?
It was up until I started this.
I'm the only one to hold it.
And like it was kind of like it's funny actually, like the only reason I really changed it is because my laptop was on its way out, it was dying and everything was taking forever, and we're using Max at the music school that I was at, and I started using Logic, and I was like, yeah, this is actually very logical for me. That's definitely Spock over here. I fell in love with it, so that was it for me. Now it's just Mac everything.
Interesting.
And Pat, you've kind of always been on that tip, right? I think for the most part.
On Mac?
Oh no, yeah, not Logic. I think Ableton, right?
Yeah. Well, the first workspace I used was GarageBand on Mac.
Ooh,
oh, cool. Okay.
And I had fun working with the limitations. And I mean, I started out with like the pre-made loops were kind of like my introduction to sampling in a way. And I was like, oh, you can just take sounds and like collage them and stuff. And, you know, like, because GarageBand comes with a bunch of like free to use loops. And that was kind of like how I got started, like figuring out how to layer samples and stuff. And then once I started to realize I could use like my own sounds that I find on records and on, you know, I mean, back then it was like MP3s. I would, you know, just drag and drop those into GarageBand. And then I was also using this, it's actually an image line program, which that they make FL Studio, but they made this other program called Decadance, which was just this like DJ program.
Never heard of it.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it's just like virtual DJ software.
Okay.
But like, because of the limitations of GarageBand, I would like throw songs into Decadance and like change the speed of them and stuff, and sort of sample on there, and then bring that into GarageBand, so I could get around some of the limitations. Like, you can't change the speed of samples in GarageBand. So
anyway. When was this? This is like probably 2008 or before?
Yeah, 2008/9 even. And
that's cool.
And then I eventually discovered Reason by Propellerhead. So I went from GarageBand to Reason, and then finally Ableton, and now I still use Ableton and Reason together.
Real quick on Reason, I touched on it just a little bit early on. It was never jived with me, but I love the look of it, the analog look, right? It was so cool how they did that. Yeah, it was very confusing for me. I did not know what I was doing.
Oh yeah, going from GarageBand to Reason was like quite a step. GarageBand's like super casual, and then Reason's like
MS Paint to virtual wires.
I think that's the best analogy.
Yeah. But it helped with Reason helped with when I finally started to use like hardware and like actual.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Like real samplers and stuff. So.
And do you have like, Pat? Do you have like, obviously like you've been going for so long now as well. Do you have like a particular album or EP that's like your baby and it's like one? Yeah, this is the one.
Well, I mean, Take It Easy is maybe like my most popular one at this point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to not be proud of that one, but I don't know. I mean, we're being so retro today, so
no, it can be whatever. Like, I feel like there's so many different eras.
Hey, the one I picked was just recently in a beat battle. That wasn't even that long ago. Comparatively.
I mean, I like Take It Easy and Temporary Sensations. I feel like are kind of both ones that I'm proud of. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's hard to choose.
Yeah, definitely. With Temporary Sensations, like, that's one of those that is so different from the kind of thing you do usually. Like, I can see how that would have a special place. I feel kind of the same with this EP, Brother Breeze, I did like a few years back, where it's so very different from stuff that people are used to, and it's not like by any stretch my most popular. but it does mean a lot to me. But we're obviously here because it's the 10-year anniversary of Native Son, and that is the record that I know so many people like. Still, like now, I still get messages from people talking about that, and just being able to have a positive impact on someone's life that you've never actually met. When you're just like a bedroom producer, really. Like, I'm not by any stretch named or anything, but that's really cool. Like, that's as far as like I don't really think about legacy or anything like that, because it's not anything like that kind of career. But that's like a really cool thing to know that you've done something that's had a positive effect on somebody's life. That's pretty amazing.
That's what it's about right there.
Yeah.
Things people have said, like, I know you guys have probably gotten tons of it, but there's those few little hardcore fans every little now and then that it's just amazing, some of the stuff that they say, and you're just kind of blown away. It's like, man, I'm just putting out some stuff that I don't even, I'm so glad that you really enjoy it. You don't even know what to say. And it's a really heartwarming kind of thing, like, for sure. That's what it's all about. Outside of just the fun of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I
want to add real quick, so before I just want to say resuscitation for me, if we were talking about just on the album thing, like that, it's tough to say, because I'll admit, like, the ones that you guys mentioned, which I think was right after that, or maybe a year after, that little EP, I think that was Take It Easy, like that, and my friend Jack, I don't know if you know him, that was by far his, like, that was, that's my favorite P.SUS stuff ever. But going back to resuscitation, I remember the first time I was actually doing some school projects, having to review other albums, and I had chosen like Teebs and some other stuff. And then going through there, I remember being like, damn, I wish I had chosen this, because like, I remember just doing some comparisons with some of the other artists I was listening to, and just like going back again on like mix level, and like just that first track, how it like leads in. It was just such a great concept album, and I'm like, damn, Pat, that was like a level change for me. So just wanted to throw that out there real quick while we were on that topic.
Thank you.
Like, I know that must have been a big undertaking too at the time, but you've done a whole lot since then. But just, that was a huge moment for me, for sure. Amazing tracks on there. The Lunagram mix on there too. That was probably one of my favorite ones, the Lunagram stuff.
Yeah, and the Perfect Blue Breezewax remix was on. I put that on there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I was thinking about that because I was listening to Native Son this morning, and I was like, oh yeah, Perfect Blue, I remixed this. So
speaking of remix, by the way,
forgot about it.
I meant to Breeze, I don't know if you remember, but for that last album where I was going to do that remix for it, I actually made one. I worked on it a long time. I still have it. I just never felt comfortable with it myself, that I was like, I didn't know if it was going to fit in with the stuff that you had, and I just never felt comfortable giving it to you, to be honest. I still kind of wanted to be like, hey man, I did make this.
Oh please, yeah, I would love so much to hear that.
I felt so bad.
What was that? That was Impressions Volume 4. Like, that was after Healthy Healing. Yeah, so like 2020? 2020. Yeah.
That's year 2020.
And we had like, 4 other artists. But yeah, no, I would still love to hear that, even though we didn't make it. I can retrospectively add that, man. I will add that.
I just felt, it's one of those things, when you're just, I'm not sure. Like, I enjoyed a lot of it. Was such a great stuff to work on.
I can't even remember what track you remixed now. Which one was it?
I'm trying to remember too. I think it was the first or second one. Because you already had a bunch of people that had picked out a few. So I had like, I think 2 or 3 that I was choosing from. Super chill. You know what? I'll have to
Oceans
go back.
Away. I think it might have been Oceans Away.
That's it. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. Yep.
I would love to hear that. That would actually make my
I'll send it to you. Like I said, I never quite felt resolved with it, but I mean, I did a lot with it. It was, in my style, a bunch of different parts, my ADD and music. So if I can send it your way, sure. I just wanted to throw that there because I forgot.
Honestly, for my ears only. Sorry, listeners. I'd be happy to take that and listen. Yeah, that's so exciting. I completely forgot about that, so yeah, I'd definitely be up for that.
I know, very late. I just thought I'd bring it up since I remember just now in the moment. Yeah. When are we all going to work on something else, though? I mean, I don't know what you guys. I know that I have not been super active in music. I've been so busy with. I do a lot of video work now.
Yeah.
And they call me away on shooting in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Not the cool stuff, trust me. I wish it was. But I have been working on, I haven't announced anything because last time I did it was like a year later when I actually put out anything. So I've got a couple tracks. I hope to put out a little something soon, but
Cool.
you guys have been a little more busy with it, but I would love to get like a good collab thing going at some point.
See, I'm not on SoundCloud anymore, so like I feel like I'm missing when you guys are doing like new things.
No.
And I'm not on Facebook either. I left like 2-3 years ago, whatever. So I feel like I'm a bit out of the loop. So that's another reason why it's been good to chat to you guys. But yeah, I think I haven't really been as active. Like part of that is like my thing was always like music's an escape, a creative escape for me, and I need to have it in my life. I do have a creative day job now, so I work in children's publishing, and I feel like it's a really rewarding and very creative job. And I'm basically now kind of in the spirit of like streaming. I'm more likely to just like work on single tracks as and when. My thing before always used to be like I need to have a big project together because I love albums, right? I love that flow into each other and kind of make sense as a cohesive unit. So that was always the thing before, but now it's like as and when I'll work on a track, I'll just put it out. And people seem to be doing that anyway. Like no one really seems to be listening to like albums as a whole now, unfortunately. But so that might be for me for a while. Up until
I admire that work ethic.
What happened with Seconda Vista was like Dakota finally just reached out and said like let's work on the follow-up, and I was like yes, and that's kind of what I need. So if there's a collab, if this is the pitch right now, Bill, if this is what's happening, then maybe that's the thing that will get me back into it again.
You made a good point though. Like I've been the same way to where I would say Pat's probably the best at it. Like he really is good at more album-based concepts and stuff. I was what was my track on SoundCloud every other week or so, that kind of thing. So just doing all of us getting together like a beat battle or something like that would be perfect in that kind of sense. Because I get we'll get busy with life's always going on and crazy things are happening. And like I said, I haven't been that active with it myself, even on my own tracks. So we don't think we need to do a huge concept album, anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that would be cool still as well, actually. Yeah. One thing for sure, like,
juices flowing.
Yeah. One thing for sure, like I've thought several times over the years about like, oh, is this the last Breezewax album or whatever? But I don't think Breezewax will ever die. Like I will always at some point have to be making music. So it's just, even if it's a gap for like a couple of years or whatever, there'll always be stuff to come out. Just a case of when I got something to say. So yeah.
You said it, it's the outlet you need. I think we all kind of need, I'm speaking a little bit for you guys, but I can assume that I think that's something that is always kind of there. And at this point that we've already taken those steps in the past, it's just kind of a part of us now. So I hope that
I'm in the space for collaborating right now, and I'm just trying to make stuff.
You were the one that reached out for that beat battle, and I'm very glad that I remember you just caught me out of the blue. You just like, hey man, you want to do a beat battle? And I was like, shit, yeah. I haven't done one in forever, so I really applaud you. Thank you, Billy, for making that happen. So something like that, man, all aboard.
I'm like in the same space that I was when I did that, when I hit you up.
There we go.
It's hard when I'm like trying to finish an album, or if I'm in the middle of like trying to finish a bunch of tracks, and I'm like feel way too creatively drained. But right now I'm just like looking for opportunities to make stuff, because it's kind of hard. Like collaborating really helps motivate me. So
definitely. Yeah, let's make it happen, guys. Let's make it happen.
Breezewax, where you at, man?
Well, this has been great, guys. Like, thanks so much for doing this. And
thank you.
Thank you, man.
The saying goes like, never meet your heroes, but like, as far as I'm concerned, like you guys, honestly, you elevated me to a different level, like way back when, and it was just great for camaraderie. So it's been great to like meet you both today and to chat with you again. So yeah, thank you.